make sure to smash up the like button. On your way in, we're going to analyze Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at other altcoins as usual. And what I want to show you here from Bitcoin, that we are going to see a move very, very soon, because we have been consolidating over 72 hours at this range in between 39.5 and 38.3. We've been consolidating here for quite a while. And yes, also we've been, this is what we usually, this is how long we usually are, okay, in between these ranges, as you can see, 48, 72 hours approximately, and then you have a move on a direction. So it's very, very likely it's going to happen in the next coming hours. We're going to finally break below this range and go down to the $37,000 region, or we're going to break the 39.5 and go to above $40,000 area. So this is something that we're going to take a look today. All right. And funny enough, I am in a short position here on PrimeXBT. I'm going to show you why, just at this level where we're currently at right now on PrimeXBT, in a short and long here on Bitcoin for a swing trade, of course. So a little bit bearish in the short term, and I'm going to explain why right away. Okay. I have a very tight stop loss. One of the reasons why is because we did have this this momentum to the downside. Okay, I'm going to explain right away. And from this push down, we've bounced back up again, and we are hitting a critical point of control. As you can see, I think we are potentially going to push back down from these levels. Very, very possible. We're taking a look at fib level from this spike that we did have yesterday to the bottom bit. We're just hitting that, golden pocket region. Very nice over there. Very big spike on the point of control. So this potentially has just been a nice big drop. We're just having the bounce, and we are potentially going to climb down here in the next coming hours. That is what I think is going to happen in the immediate short term. So you can be in a short position and in a long position at the same time, right? Depending on what time frame. Let me just go here quickly through the comment section, guys. Say hello to everyone. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone is doing absolutely fantastic. Paria says, I wonder what the Fed's going to do this week. 0.25, 0.25% interest rates. Yes, I think so. Something like that. I don't think they're going to put 1 or 2%. I think it's still too soon to put interest rates up a few percentages. So yeah, 0.25% would make much sense. I don't care what they do. I'm mostly stake, says Hex Huddle. Absolutely fantastic. On the Pulse chain, absolutely great. Since Andy switched on his Moon Boy feature, it is time to short. Well, yeah, I mean, this is the thing, all depending on, I'm shorting right now actually. So, but I'm also longing. It all depends on what you can see on the charts. This was a great long opportunity. We had an explosive breakout from here. So yeah, I'm not that moonish right now. I would actually be bearish if we start pumping, to these levels. I would be starting to look bearish at $43,000 for a major drop. So yeah, I'm not extremely bullish just yet. So yeah, I think wait for shorting when I'm extremely bullish, right? I would say. Hey Andy, can you do waves? I'm in a short from 27.05. Like, let's take a look at waves. Absolutely, why not? Let's take a look at waves straight away. So yeah, waves looks pretty good. Oh, we did have a perfect wick, and I'm just going to blind guess right now that I would be it would be nice to get above this range to this resistance, but I'm just going to blind guess that it's already hit the 618 to the exact dollar. I mean, absolutely amazing. Look at this, from the highs to the lows. Where did you hit to the exact dollar? The 618. Absolutely magical number right there. You hit it, you correct. I think you are pretty safe. You're pretty safe. Worst case scenario here on waves, in my personal opinion, would be getting another leg up to this range and then back down. But like I said, on the latest videos and live streams, you know, Waves has had its insane run. There is much selling interest down here than buying, okay, in my personal opinion. It's had its waves, it's, you know, climbed all the way up. This is ready to have a pretty steep correction. So if you are in a swing trade, I think you are pretty safe. If I was shorting this, I think, you know, this could easily come down the $20 and even slightly below the $20 major support level that we do have here on Waves. So if it's a swing trade, it's maybe going to take a week or two to come all the way down to this range with a little bit of volatility. But yeah, very likely that, yeah, $27 is a pretty good short. It would have been nice to catch that wick. Okay, this is what I was looking. I was looking for shorting Waves after this correction to have this bounce and creating a lower high. Reason why this is very likely going to be a kind of an ABC correction in my personal opinion. So yeah, this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good actually. For it might be coming down to much lower levels. I think this low will be very likely be touched. And one of the most simple strategies, you know, about, you know, making double tops and double bottoms, if it does come all the way down here, if you're shorting at $27, you need to take profits at this low, and you need to protect your position, of course, because you don't know if you are really going to create a double top. You need to wait for that reaction. If it breaks, good. If it bounces, then you are protected. You can take profits on the way up, of course. But yeah, this is very likely to continue down. Look at Waves being absolutely crazy. So that's my take on Waves. Andy, you beast, what's up? David, how are you doing? What's up? Decentra Plants, how are you? Let's go here through the comment section. What's up, Andy? Bitcoin to 43k. Scalping. Yes, we're doing a little bit of scalping. Let's see. Scalping with tight stop losses. BTC to 43k. I think so. I've got two harmonic patterns here. All right. They are both Gartley patterns. One's bullish, one's bearish. It would be even better, in my personal opinion, if we do get all the way down below $37,000. I would be extremely bullish if we come down this range and have a few bounces. Yeah, this is going to be my buy zone. This is going to be me. I'll be buying, you know, adding more to my swing trade. If we do consolidate at this range, of course. If we don't consolidate and start falling like crazy, then yeah, I'm out of my position, of course. But if we consolidate, I'll be adding heavily the position that I got here, adding heavily to ladder my position down, because it's a very small position, getting ready to add up to the potential consolidations. Now, why would I be bullish at this range? Like I said, because we do have a big, nice Gartley pattern. We'll be losing these lows, and I think it's going to be a failed breakout. We got this low, we got this low, and this area is very nice. It might be a liquidity grab, and we're going to pop up. I've explained on many other live streams how Bitcoin does this many times, and it will continue doing it. Get trap shorts, get trap longs. This is, you know, the game is all about that. Getting people trapped on breakouts. And yeah, we do not want to get trapped, right, on breakouts. You know, you get this lower high right there, you get this failed breakout, come back down, you get this low over here, you get this failed breakout, also this one right over here from this high, failed breakout, back down, and this is what the game is all about, right? So yeah, we got that bearish Gartley, bullish Gartley, sorry, and we got this bearish one, okay, where we could come down to round about 37.9. Still very possible. Ultimate low for the 88%, 0.88%, okay, from the Gartley, and consolidate at this range and then get that leg up. And once we break this high, that's a take profit zone, and this might be a good shorting opportunity, okay? So that's my take here. Looking at Bitcoin, I'm just looking at these harmonics for the moment, because the price action in the immediate short term is so boring, guys. You know, it's really boring what's happening right over here. So yeah, that's my take on Bitcoin. Hey amigo, the market is so bored. Yes, it is. Waiting for a movement soon. Yes, Matthias, don't worry. It is very likely going to move pretty heavily in between today and tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I think we are very likely going to be or under these lows over here, or above, you know, these highs over here. Okay, this was just a complete massive big spike. Fake out, came back down. The strongest region is at 39.5, as you can see on the chart. This is just a bunch of noise, and this is also a bunch of noise. So we're just trading in between that range. I think very likely by in between today and tomorrow, we are going to get or below or above this range. This has been too long right now, too long, and it's ready for a move. No doubt about that. What's up, buddy? Thank you. You're very welcome. Dark Lord, thank you very much. If BTC pumps, then what level to take profit? Yeah, this is, well, I've been talking about this. I think this is a very likely scenario to happen in the next, you know, 1-2 days. 1-2 days. I think this is very likely going to happen, where we are going to see or the bullish Gartley playing out, having that dip, or that bearish one having, you know, that pumpy action. All right, the next pump or the next dump is very likely going to try and attempt to break this this lower high. Right, we're very likely going to try and get above this range, or we're very likely going to get below this area. So these are the levels that I'm looking for, and those are the levels that we are very likely going to stop. So that is what I'm looking at right now. Let me go here through the comment section. 289 watching at this moment, guys. Don't forget to smash up that like button for the algorithm. You'll be helping me out here with the channel for daily content, daily videos, daily technical analysis, guys. Also, if you are interested on Prime XBT, you get the best bonus down below. It is 7% added to your deposit. And on Bybit, I use it for swing trading. You get $4,100 worth of bonus, up to $4,100. It's another way to support the channel, of course. So yeah, let's take a look. Can we see eGold? Absolutely. Let's take a look at eGold. We can also take a look at XRP there. We know that XRP, I think a lot of people are expecting XRP to have some bullish momentum. So we'll be taking a look at XRP right away. eGold has been pretty impressive with this massive momentum here. Big spike, big pump. You know, this, when you go like this parabolic, it is not safe. It is not safe. As you can see, went straight back down, lost this uptrend, and once you lost this uptrend, it was kind of game over, right, for eGold, just correcting massively. Are we potentially creating a double bottom here for eGold? This is the thing. It looks like we are gaining strength here. This is looking at the daily. We can zoom in on the 4 hourly, and eGold is just consolidating really nicely at this level. Let's take a look at VPVR. Yeah, it seems like we're making a pretty solid floor here. Okay, we do have this low. We do have this low over here, creating a nice, you know, consolidation, giving a nice spike. We do have this point of control also, where we do have this spike in volume right there. So it is very possible that we are going to attempt to create a double bottom here in the immediate short term for eGold. Let's take a look at the price action here, because we are potentially forming a kind of a symmetrical triangle here with these lower highs right there, and these higher lows. So we are kind of creating a symmetrical triangle. Pay attention to this symmetrical triangle here on eGold, because I mean, if it's coming from a downtrend, this could be a continuation pattern to the downside, but it could also be a double bottom. I think, you know, it looks better for a double bottom in my opinion. We are actually creating higher lows right there. And you know, same here. You might think that this is a bear flag, right? And you are going to continue to the downside. Did this continue to the upside? No, we had a big massive pump. So I think yeah, probabilities here on eGold on getting a pump is very likely to the very likely, I think. Watch out for this symmetrical triangle. We need to find out legit breakouts, consolidations, bounces, because this could have an impulsive move to the upside if it breaks up. If it breaks down, then yeah, stay cautious. We could go to much lower levels here. Looking at this symmetrical triangle, this needs to break out before the 22nd, 23rd of March, which is the very end of the apex. Usually they break out at 70% of the range. So I would say in between, you know, tomorrow and Tuesday, very likely we're going to see a breakout. Jim Brownies, thank you very much. Thank you. Right, XRP, let's take a look at XRP right away. Absolutely, XRP, why not? Let's take a look at XRP, see what's going on. Yeah, XRP, I think after this correction, because we did have an explosive pump. We did have an explosive pump. Wow, this is beautiful. This is really nice on XRP, and I'm going to explain why. XRP, we do know that there's good news on XRP. So I think there was a little bit of a hype just because of this news. This was on the 12th of, no, the 11th, I think, 11th of March, when we did get that good news from XRP of the SEC. So there was a little bit of a speculation there, a little bit of a big pump. What is happening right now from the range in between January, this is January, we got February and March right over here. So the biggest point of control, right, from this, from 2022, basically, these 3 months, okay, 2.5 months, it is round about the 75-76 cents. I think this level is going to be very strong for XRP. XRP, in my personal opinion, and I'm just going to explain why here by looking at the charts, is going to enter a good buy zone right now. Because if you take a look at the point of control here, looking at the VPVR, this is that red horizontal line that we got, okay? This is the strongest line of volume on XRP, and it's exactly at about 77 cents. So we are just a couple of cents away right now. We got this high, you can see this high, you got this high, you got a lot of volatility here. Look at this, support. Look how the price action reacts to that level. We got a bunch of volatility right there. So yeah, if XRP, let me just zoom in right now and get volume profile. We do know that this is a major level, okay? Let's just put that, you know, horizontal right there at the 77 cent range, right over here. I'm going to put it in yellow, and I'm going to put it thick, and I'm going to put text, you know, point of control, and there we have it. I think we are potentially going to get a pretty nice bounce at that range just because of the VPVR, massive big volume. You have been bouncing there in the past as support and resistance. We are currently above it, and we are creating an ascending channel on XRP. We got slightly higher highs right there, higher lows, as you can see. And most importantly, we got an above the point of control. This is looking at the 4 hourly. Let's zoom in on the 2 hourly. Right, why can't I see my volume here? Right, I can't see my volume or RSI for some reason. There we go. Yeah, we got pretty high volume here on this breakout of XRP from this resistance level. This is a clear breakout in my opinion. This is no fake out. Okay, what is potentially going to happen is that you're going to see XRP climbing down to this range, to that 77-76 area. It's, for me, it's a buy zone. It's a buy zone. If we do get down there in the next, you know, hour or two while I'm doing the live stream, I'm potentially going to long this. On Prime XBT, it's going to hit, you know, the 618 from the start of the pump is exactly at 0.77. It's at 77 cents. you have in this first correction, a little bounce, another correction, and this is going to be looking very, very nice on XRP. Not financial advice, of course. It would be nice to see that last a little bit of a drop, and then it's, you know, it would be, I would be definitely putting up a position there. Everything aligns up that XRP will be having a pump if it does correct to that range. So that's my take on XRP. I'll be potentially doing that on Bybit, because Prime XBT on crypto, it is a little expensive if you're going to have a trade open for a few days. The fees on crypto, the fees are absolutely great on commodities and, you know, other different assets, but on Bybit is ideal. On Bybit it is much, much cheaper. So I would be looking for a potential small swing trade, because XRP is so slow and it does take quite some time to do the movement. It might take, you know, quite a few days to have that bullish momentum. Let's go here quickly through the smash the like button, guys. Adib, thank you very much for the support. FTM, let's take a look at Phantom. So that's my take here on XRP. I think XRP can have some pretty nice bullish momentum. We know that there are pretty good fundamentals out there. Let me just take a look at Phantom, see what's going on. I think Phantom was, yeah, correcting here. Not much to add to Phantom. On the latest live streams, my target for Phantom is coming all the way down to the $1 area. I think Phantom is very likely going to come down there. Reason why we've lost this major support at round about the $1.30 range mentioned on latest live streams. We did see that we did have that, you know, this strong support at $1.30. We retested it here once. Okay, after having this bounce, and then this was the third touch, right? Okay, from this range 1, 2, 3, and we were talking about this potential scenario of an inverted cup and handle, right? Third touch right over here is very likely to break down, and it's breaking down right now. I think we could see Phantom coming all the way down to the $1 range. It's looking pretty bearish. So yeah, that's my take on Phantom. Not much to add on Phantom, really. We're just below this insane amount of resistance right now. So if we do have a little bit of bumpy action, I think it might climb back down. Okay, you might get a little bit of volatility. There might be a little bit of over leveraged shorting positions at this range because of Phantom bad news as well. And you might get a little bit of a short squeeze before you continue down. So I'll stay cautious on this one. Right, let's take a look at Luna. Let's take a look at Luna right away. Why not? Luna, what's going on, Luna? Luna. Huge amount of volume everywhere. Luna, we did talk about these bearish divergence on Luna, and I think it is very possible to continue this correction. We had these very aggressive bearish divergence on the RSI making lower highs, price action making higher highs. It was very likely to fail on that, you know, successful breakout of the all-time high. It was just very likely we weren't gonna see an explosive breakout here, that we were gonna get rejected at all-time high, especially after seeing those bearish divergence. Yeah, my take here on Luna, and we can take a look at the 4-hourly, zoom in a little bit. Wow, I mean, this was insane because the all-time high here was at $103, all-time high created in December of 2021. And the high here on the 4-hourly, we just wicked above that range, closed 4-hourlies beneath it. That would have been an insane short on Luna right there, because you're basically closing below the all-time high when you're attempting to break it. With wicks, this is a total failed attempt, and you could have arguably shorted that all the way to the 618. Fibonacci from this low to the high. Now, what do I think could happen on Luna? Well, it is my take on Luna here is that we are maybe going to continue down. Reason why is because we got this volatility over here. We got this low over here. We got a beautiful bounce. I think we talked this on the latest live stream where we were potentially going to bounce from this level. It was also the 618. If I take the lows to the highs, yeah, this was mentioned on, was it yesterday's live stream? Because I remember seeing Luna correcting here. And yeah, I'm not sure if someone was in a short and I was saying, yeah, this was, yeah, I remember someone in the comment section saying, Andy, I'm in a short. I think it was at this range or in a long. I can't remember right now, but I do remember saying that this is a major level right there. Okay, because we got this nice spike over here and it's also the golden pocket from this low to the high. We got that perfect bounce at that level, as you can see here on the chart right there. And if you were long in here, definitely a take profit range at $93, $94. Why? Because it's been very strong support and resistance level, and it might be a good shorting opportunity here to continue to the downside. That was what I would be looking for. I would be looking, I was saying, long here potentially, take profits near to the $93 range. $93 range, depending on how we react at this level. We start seeing those candles like here, like here. If you start seeing that here, then this is very likely going to roll back down. So I would be paying close attention on Luna at $93, $94. Yeah. Agreed, Jonathan. We got a double top on weekly. We will go 32K, bro. We will go to 32K. We will do this. This will happen. I have no idea what will happen. I just want to speculate with technical analysis in the short term, try and make some money, okay? And yeah, we don't really know, okay? If you're saying double top on the weekly, this is, you could arguably discuss this is a double top. Okay, so you are saying this is a double top and we are going down to 32K to retest these lows. Okay, you could say that could happen in the next coming weeks. It doesn't have to happen in the next couple of days. We could see a little bit of bullish momentum and then come down there. But and that's what I think is going to happen. I think we are going to see some bullish momentum in the next coming days, potentially 43K. Even 47K. I think it's very, very possible, guys. Expect the unexpected. Most people are expecting the price to go down. Yeah, I'm going to ask you this in the comments, in the poll, guys. What comes, does 47K come first? First, then 32K. Let me know in the comment section, guys. Does 47K come first, then 32K, guys? I think so. I think where we at right now, 39. So down it would be about yeah, about 7,000. Up it would be about 8,000. So yeah, does 47K come first, then 32K, guys? Let me know in the poll here. Let me see if you guys are bullish or bearish in the next week. ICP, let's take a look at ICP. Oh my goodness, long time since we haven't checked out ICP. Long time, long time. Let's check out ICP. Wow. Yeah, pretty insane how ICP just collapsed. It just collapsed like a lot of the cryptos. We got on ICP this low that we did create in June of 2021. It was the summer lows when everything was crashing in May. We did manage to get some kind of support reaction right there. Broke down, got the resistance, had like a double bottom here with a second higher bottom. Came back up, retested this resistance zone. It's just been crashing ever since. So yeah, latest analysis was around about this range. We are seeing some slightly bullish divergence here on the RSI. Looking at ICP, there are some bullish divergence. We could expect a bounce. We could expect a bounce. I would say at least to these highs over here. I think we could expect a bounce at these highs. So if we do break resistance on ICP from these lower highs, then I think we could easily reach the top of the wedge at this range, around about the $22, $23. So I think that could very likely happen in the next coming days. This will have to reverse at some point, of course. And the bullish divergence can give you a sign of the bears getting a little bit weak. So we could see that happening very, very soon. I would say in the next few days. It might take 4 or 5 days, a couple of days, till we potentially have that reversal on ICP. Obviously bullish in the immediate short term, because you cannot be bearish at this low for when you've been going down so much. If we do see that pump, then of course I would be looking, we'll be looking bearish. We'll probably still be creating big lower highs and continue the downtrend. So that would be a short term target, potentially hitting $22, $23. Right. Right, let's take a look here. Please, Chainlink, the weakest link, says Jay Constant. Yeah, I hear the beagle barking. Yes, I got the beagle barking down. Yeah, he's being a naughty dog. Yeah, he's barking. Joseph, thank you for joining the live stream. Mark Dirch, absolutely amazing. Let's take a look at Chainlink. Why not? Let's take a look at Chainlink. Long time since we haven't taken a look at Chainlink, guys. We've got 400 people watching today. Absolutely amazing. Sunday live stream. Make sure to smash up that like button. Let's take a look at Chainlink right away. See what's going on. Oh my goodness, my Chainlink. Huge bag of Chainlink I've got a huge bag of Chainlink. Let's hope this is going to do well in the next coming years. Right, this is Chainlink on the daily. Chainlink on the daily. I do like the VPVR that we do have from 2020 all the way, you know, from mid 2020 all the way till today. So that's almost 2 years. And on the VPVR, we do have some pretty solid volume down here, okay? Around about that $13. Of course, summer lows was here on Chainlink. I think we could be very close to bottom out on Chainlink. Let me just check out a few things. I just want to do... Yeah, let's take a look at Chainlink in the immediate short term. Same thing. A lot of these cryptos are creating these bullish divergence. This is a clear sign of exhaustion of the bears, right? Where you are creating aggressive lower lows here on the daily. Okay, I wouldn't pay too much attention on like 30-minute, 1 hourly divergence. They are, you know, they're not the best to take a look at. But on the daily, they are pretty strong, right? You could see a little bit of bullish momentum in the next coming weeks by looking at these bullish divergence on Chainlink. This is looking at the daily. A lot of them look like they need that breakout. They need that bounce. This reminds me very much of, you know, this kind of price action reminds me very much of the price action from June and July. Okay, where you were creating, you know, these kind of wedges, right? this kind of wedge, look at the summer where you're creating a summer of 2021, you're creating lower highs, lower lows, and you know, I would blindly guess these weren't bullish divergence actually in the summer. You weren't creating bullish divergence. You did get that bullish breakout. You do have the bullish divergence right now on Chainlink, and you are creating a very, very similar wedge. So my take on this would be seeing a little bit of bullish momentum. Yeah. Looks like it's getting exhausted. So yeah, that's my analysis in the short term. Fed meeting can impact Bitcoin price. Very, very true. It's very, very true. I think it won't do much, as it's only going to be a 0.25%. We don't know how much they're going to put it up, but it's very likely going to be just 0.25%. So yeah, huge bag of Chainlink. Yes, I've seen it gone all the way. If I would have cashed out at $50, it would have been insane, but I didn't. I cashed a lot of the other cryptos, but not Chainlink. Chainlink is one of those that, you know the deal. I'm not cashing till it hits $100, or I'm riding it to zero. It's in my brain right now. That it's in my brain until Chainlink doesn't get $100. It might never happen. I'm not cashing out. I will ride it to zero. Right. What do you think about 4-year BTC cycle? Yeah, no, Bitcoin cycles don't move in 4 years. The halving is 4 years. Halving is 4 years, but I mean, there's so many theories out there. I'm still sticking to this theory over here, where the market cycles, you know, are lengthening. You are seeing more boring price action. You're seeing longer corrections inside of the bull market, because inside of this bull market back in 2011, 2013, you did have a few months of bear market inside it. So we are seeing quite a few months of bear market inside of this bull market. So I'm still going to stick to that theory. I'm still sticking to the theory that we might see this cycle lengthening, you know. This has just been a big correction inside of, and we could still correct a little bit more, no doubt about that. But we are going to see potentially a bullish end of the year. So yeah, that's what I think. That's my personal opinion, of course. David, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. Can you look at Chiliz, please? We had a pump today, says Mladen. Let's take a look at Chiliz right away. CHZ. Let's take a look at Chiliz. What's going on? We have a few things here, a few lines drawn. Yeah, this is... Well, we are seeing that nice bottom from the summer, okay? This is Chiliz on the daily. We got this nice summer low bottom, very important level. This is why I got this orange box here. We are failing to try and break this range, okay? It is kind of failing. You are seeing that you are seeing that bullish divergence playing out, such I showed you on Chainlink, I showed you on another crypto. You are seeing that bullish effect, right? You are creating aggressive higher lows on the daily RSI, lower lows on the price action. What happens? You get exhausted at this range. You might be getting some bullish momentum. You did actually get a pretty nice pump actually here on Chiliz as soon as you created this low, all the way to almost retest the high. So it got a pretty decent pump today. Not a huge amount. Volume is pretty good. It looks pretty sustainable. So you could see Chiliz climbing up to these highs, very, very likely to the highs of 23 cents. I do like this kind of price action. Looking at the 4 hourly on Chiliz, it looks pretty strong to have a little bit of bullish momentum and attempt breaking these highs. Very, very likely. This works perfectly with my Sunday church service. Okay. XRP pump. Let's take a look at XRP right away. Let's take a look at XRP. Well, it's yeah. Oh my god, you guys see like a 1/4% move, and you already get overexcited. But yeah, we're still not pumping here on XRP. But I think XRP has the best trade setup right now. Best trade setup is on XRP at this moment. Yeah, best trading setup is on XRP, and I think I'm going to do a live trade here, swing trade on XRP, because I would be patiently waiting. I wouldn't mind missing the trade. If we come down all the way here to around about 76, 77 cents, I think I would be patiently waiting for that range, because this area is very, very much very attractive to get supported on XRP. We got insane support at that 76, 77 cent range. Big pump backed up by volume. No volume drying out here. Selling pressure drying out. No selling. There's no selling interest on XRP right now. So we could expect this to get a pretty nice pump the next couple of days, guys. Best strategy here on XRP would be, you know, if you get into a trade right now, make it a small trade and then add to your position. But I would prefer to see a reaction at this level, because this could, you know, we don't know what could happen. You could have a falling knife happening at, you know, somebody having a big market order sell on XRP, and then this happens. Of course, you don't want to get trapped into that fall. So it would be nice to see the consolidation here at the 76, 77 cents. When chemical weapons are used, tactical nukes, this market is coming down, says Chuck. I mean, yeah. ADA, please. Let's take a look at ADA. Biden is gonna destroy Bitcoin. You better hope to light cash, which is private and super fast. You cannot destroy Bitcoin. Bitcoin works without the internet. You would have to destroy all the computing power that is worldwide. And you know, the good thing about Bitcoin's code, the difficulty for mining Bitcoin now is really, really high, because there are so many power machines out there mining Bitcoin every single day. These machines get destroyed, we'll be going back to, you know, 2009, 2010, where you could mine Bitcoin from a laptop, because the difficulty adjusts. You know, it is kind of undestructible. Bitcoin is really very hard to destroy, and you can actually send Bitcoin with no internet. You don't need internet to send Bitcoin. So yeah, it would be very, very hard to destroy. You can try and ban it. I've seen Bitcoin being banned many times. But yeah, I've taken a look at Phantom already. What about Algo? Let's take a look at Algorand. Absolutely, why not? Algorand for Mark Dutch. Mark Dutch says Algorand is very, very close to the bottom. I remember you saying this, my man. So let's take a look at Algorand. Let's zoom out on the chart. Zoom out on the chart on Algorand. And this is the daily chart for Algorand. And this looks pretty cool. You know, I would say that this is very likely near the bottom as well after this huge correction, because look at if you went all the way back to the 2020 March crash on Algorand, we had an insane crash. Remember, guys, the Black Swan event. Maybe some of you people are new in crypto. I did live this massive big crash. My portfolio went down 60%. I actually bought more on that crash, and it was the best thing I could ever do, the best thing I ever did investment wise. But if you see, this is an ultimate low on Algorand, which was round about the 10 cent level. You have the price pumping and peaking out at 70 cents, right? 70 cent range. This is in 2020. You have an insane corrective move in a waves. So you got the second corrective wave, the third corrective wave right here, the third wave to the upside, sorry, which is this one. Where did you peak? You peaked around about the $1.80 around this range. Okay, that's the third wave from this low, looking at Algorand. Where's the fourth wave? Fourth wave is this corrective wave over here, right? You can see, where did the fourth wave correct to? It correct to the peak of the first wave. What happened next? Fourth wave, looking at Elliott wave theory, Elliott wave counts. You can see here that you created the fifth wave, breaking the third wave. Where did it peak? Round about the $2.50 range. What happens next? What happens next is you have a big ABC correction, right? And I'm not inventing this. You can clearly see the lows and the highs here. So you could arguably discuss that Algorand has followed Elliott wave theory, because if you go to the ultimate low from March of 2020, you could actually go to the logarithmic. Would it be better here? It might be even better here, looking at the logarithmic chart, you know. Clear low here on Algorand. And let's just take Elliott wave theory and go from the ultimate low. And this is looking at the daily. This could be really, really powerful. You could actually dip slightly below on Algorand, but I think we're very close to the bottom. If we do dip in the next coming weeks, it might be one of the best buying opportunities. You see this as Elliott wave theory, you have one wave, two corrective wave, three topping up here, four hitting the top of the first wave, absolutely textbook technical analysis looking at Elliott wave theory. Fifth wave, arguably discussed, 250. You know, you had this big massive pump coming out from nowhere, but yeah, around about this range, there you have it. You have 5 waves over there. Now question is, you know, where can we end? Well, usually ABC corrections, the C correction, let me just get a picture here for any people that is new, any people that are new to technical analysis, just to show you. Let me just get the VPVR out of the way. Elliott wave theory here, looking at Algorand. You know, yeah, you cannot make this up. You cannot make this up, because you have lows, you have highs, you have lows, you have highs, you have lows. You cannot make this up. So, yeah, ABC correction can actually dip slightly below the first wave. If you look at the theory of a Elliott wave, okay, a B correction cannot drop below. So maybe the B has already happened here on the ABC correction. B correction usually more or less hits, okay, the top of the first wave, or even below the first wave, even below the third wave, sorry. So if we try and spot the potential ABC correction here on Elliott wave theory, on Algorand, you know, was this it? If this were to be the high of the fifth wave, and we did create an aggressive A correction, we go with A correction, you know, you could arguably discuss that this low has been the A, because you did get a nice consolidation from the correction and you did get a bounce. So what if, you know, you connect from the top of the fifth, you know, this being the A correction, very, very possible, this being the B, and this is right now as being the C, that can be really, really aggressive, and, you know, even go down to the 60 cents. You know, it would make sense to see this if you're taking a look at Elliott wave theory, right? If we go with Fibonacci extension, it can help you to find out, you know, the 1-to-1 or the 1-to-1.6, where usually the maximum potential is the 1.618. So from the high to the low to the B, you know, look at the 1-to-1, and this is looking at the logarithmic. one-to-one wave here from the high to this low, consolidation, bounce back down again. The one-to-one is hitting 54 cents. So can Algorand, if it does, I would be very interested in buying at that level. We have a very nice spike here created on February. Also, it makes sense that that level might be very, very good for buying. You could obviously start dollar cost averaging, or depending if you want to buy this and hold, or you want to swing trade it. It all depends what you want to do. If you want to swing trade it, then yeah, this might take several months. It might take several months to, you know, get all the way, you know, up to the all-time high. Okay, several months till you see this market potentially recover. But you could arguably discuss that it is very close to the bottom, very close to the bottom. So that's my take on Algorand. It could drop lower. If you're swing trading, low leverage, make sure to be prepared to have this trade open for a few months. A platform with very low fees, of course, that would be Bybit. You know, the fees are extremely cheap. You can have a position open here for, you know, cents, all depending on how big is the position, of course. It could be a few dollars, it can be cents, it can be hundreds of dollars if you've got millions of dollars worth of a position. But the fees are really cheap to have a position for a few months. But if you are accumulating Algorand, and Algorand is an insane good project, big backers, big community. I think this one blockchain project will do very, very well. It's starting to be an accumulation area. Okay, in between 50 cents and 70 cents, it is an accumulation zone, and that's my personal opinion. And just accumulate at that range till in the next few months or a couple of years till it gets back up to all-time high, and then this is going to take time. Start exiting at all-time high at the $2.50, $2.60. So yeah, that's my take here on Algorand. Dodo makes an all-time high every Dodo makes every day a new all-time low. Seems re-dead. Dodo is I think it's a decentralized exchange for the Ethereum network, if I'm not wrong. dYdX, can you please have a look at it? 4.5 US dollar, look like a bottom. Let's take a look at that right away. Right, let's take a look at dYdX, also decentralized exchange for the Ethereum network. Right, we're going to take a look at AVAX for EAN also afterwards. So let me just scroll down here and let's take a look at ADA also. Okay, let's take a look at dYdX. dYdX US dollar right away. dYdX. It is creating, you know. I was going to say it's creating bullish divergence, but it's, let me just go to the weekly chart here. 1 second. Yeah. There's no signs of a bottom here just yet. It's still in a pretty aggressive, you know, this momentum hasn't changed, right? This momentum here to the downside hasn't really changed. Let me just get a channel here. We take this high, this one, you know, extend this channel. It's still in a pretty aggressive descending channel here. This one got hit really, really badly, and it's just in a massive descending channel. Of course, at the lows of this channel, I would be quite bullish, looking for the center of the channel at least. So you could see a little bit of a bounce here on dYdX. So yeah, if we do get a little bit of bearishness and go down to the $4, I would be bullish. Okay, very likely it's going to get a bounce at some point to the center of the channel. But yeah, this is in a very aggressive downtrend. Very aggressive downtrend, of course. If it does pump like crazy in the next coming days to about $6, okay, or so, I would be very, very cautious. You know, it might be a good shorting opportunity and it might continue to the downside. If you want a range trade, you know, pretty simple. Long the support, short the resistance. Not much more I can tell you about the dYdX chart here. Huge volume here on top of us. So yeah, $8, huge resistance. If this does attempt to break out the channel, it's probably going to be a big fat fake out, because you do have a huge amount of VPVR right there. Point of control. Very hard to break above this range. So I would say that this is going to be also a shorting opportunity. The thing is, you might see dYdX having massive bullish momentum at some point in the next coming weeks. It might be months, but see big bullish momentum, get people extremely bullish. This is an insane level to watch, and that might be a great shorting opportunity right there. Get people extremely bullish, and then this will have a pretty corrective movement. So I would be paying close attention at the $8, $8.50 area. It might be good swing short opportunity right there. But yeah, at these lows, I would be bullish. At the lows of this channel, looking for a bullish momentum. I'm seeing bullish divergence on the daily RSI for many altcoins. Does this mean we are going to see a recovery phase for altcoins in the coming days? Very possible. A lot of the altcoins are having these daily bullish divergence. Okay, now I wouldn't just use that as an indication, because yeah, you could have bullish divergence all week, all the month, the entire month, right? Because you can see here that, you know, the price of dYdX has been having bullish divergence, you know, since the 10th of January. You were already creating higher lows. This is not it's not the best indicator. It does help to see that the bears are losing steam, but look at this. This has been creating, you know, higher lows on the RSI ever since, you know, the beginning of the year, basically. So, and it's still continuing making lower lows. So at some point, it looks like that this will reverse, of course. The question is when, of course. And the best thing you could do here is, you know, trying to speculate in longing these support levels of this aggressive descending channel. You know, at some point you are going to get those bounces and potentially come back down, but you want to get into those bounces or shorting those resistance levels. Trade the range, right? Right, let's take a look at which one. I had a couple of altcoins here. ADA also. Let's take a look at ADA. Right, I got a bunch of AVAX was one of them. Let's take a quick look at ADA here for the community. 440 people watching, absolutely amazing. ADA getting a little bit of a bounce here. Well, a little bit of a reaction at the 80 cents. Nothing to add up here on ADA. This is looking at ADA on the daily major level at 80 cents. This might actually hold. It might actually hold. We might get a pretty nice bounce at the 80 cent level. This was a perfect, you know, not a perfect call, but, you know, we were dropping below $1. $1 insane resistance. We hit the $1 to the tick. That was an insane short opportunity. Look at this. You created this kind of doji candle on the daily, hitting, you know, this consolidation range right there. Bang. That was an insane short opportunity all the way down to these levels. That we did talk about this scenario, you know, ADA dropping to the 80 cent level, getting a bounce to the $1 range. It was very likely to get rejected from $1 right there and come back down and retest the 80 cent level. That's what happened. Of course, what could happen right now is that you could have a double bottom. You know, this is not a trading range, basically. This is just boring price action. You could actually create a double bottom. You know, best trading ideas for Cardano here. After we get out this boring momentum, is we know that this is a good strong range, 80-cent level. If you have a successful breakout hitting 60, around about 70, 60 cents in the next coming days at some point, you want to try and get into that reversal point and short this range. We talked about this when we were trading at these levels, you know, just a few weeks ago, when we were hitting that $1 and consolidating. Right, this is very boring. Cardano is very likely going to break down because we are making aggressive, you know, lower highs for a long time. We are sitting at this major support level that we've had, you know, all the way from back in 2021. Very likely to break. If it breaks aggressively, you wait till we come back to the $1. And that was just insane. That was just a perfect call. That was basically a perfect call. You hit it to the exact dollar there. $1. This spike, you can check it out yourself. We're saying wait for the $1. Wait for this price action. If Cardano does break here and hits the 70, even 65 cent level and bounces back up, it is very likely going to get rejected from the 80-cent range. Why? Because you are in a big, massive downtrend and you're going to continue. You just need to try and get into these waves. But till that happens, I'm not interested in doing anything at this range. If it does bounce back up, let's see how it reacts at this range. It might be another shorting opportunity. We've seen this before. You come down, you back up, come down, back up to this area. You can short as a double top, right? So, all depending on how it reacts to this range, you could potentially short that. But even better, if it does break $1 and goes to the $1.20 approximately or something like that, hits this range, there will be a little scalp opportunity there, or a day trade or a small swing trade to try and attempt and hit these highs again. You're going to get supported here if you do have a successful breakout. So you were looking to try and get into these waves, just like this wave over here. So yeah, but basically you would have to, you know, go here to the cross on TradingView, add an alert. So you'll be adding an alert and you know, just wait till we hit those levels. If you break it, be patient, look at the charts all the time. I'm basically more focused in looking at Bitcoin most of the time, so not on altcoins. I take a look at altcoins for you guys basically here in the community, just to do a little bit of an overview. Nothing too special, of course. My deep technical analysis is in Bitcoin, not on altcoins, but I like to take a look at the altcoins and overview, and always say to the community, if Bitcoin is bearish and altcoins look bullish, you know, depending on Bitcoin dominance, depending on the structure that we do have on Bitcoin, if Bitcoin drops, altcoins do look bullish, altcoins will get dragged back down. Okay, maybe a lot of people do know that, but for whoever doesn't know that, Bitcoin is the leader of the market. Something to note here is the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance, I've been, you know, talking about this for ages, but this is the daily chart and we're still in this consolidation. But I think the Bitcoin dominance at some stage is going to come down to the 30% level. And this will be very good for altcoins. For some of the altcoins, depending if this is going to happen in a bear market, if Bitcoin's in a downtrend and the Bitcoin dominance does go down, altcoins won't see much of a, you know, big pumpy action. But if Bitcoin is bullish and the Bitcoin dominance does go down, that is when we'll see that alt season, right? So, but this is not going to happen anytime soon till we hit 30%. It might happen at the end of the year, because we could still range trade in between this level, and this might happen in November or who knows when, who knows. But I think the overall direction on the Bitcoin dominance is still continuing down. So that's my take. So we will see an alt season at some point, or at least altcoins doing okay. So yeah, anyway, just wanted to point that out here on the Bitcoin dominance. On my opinion, of course, a lot of people might think that we've done a double bottom on the Bitcoin dominance, and Bitcoin dominance is going to climb to 50, 60 and even back up to 70%. Now, something curious here on Avalanche is that it is struggling, okay? It is struggling to get above. It is creating aggressive lower highs. So every time we bounce from these drops, you know, it's always been a shorting opportunity. But you are technically creating higher lows right there. So we are very at the end of this kind of apex. We might just have a little bit of volatility, and then it will look for a direction in the next coming days. Look at this. How boring can a price action get? You know, it needs to pop very, very soon. It needs to pop very, very soon. Look at this. We're just getting at the very, very end. It's going to explode in the next coming days. Before the 20th of March, I do see a pretty clear direction for Avalanche. Of course, is it going to be up or down? Well, we don't really know. We're going to try and take advantage of that momentum. If we do explode with volume, be patient for the price coming to lower levels. You know, make sure to mark your levels. This looks like a pretty interesting range right there. If it does have an explosive breakout with a volume, okay, big spike in volume, then of course you know, you either miss the trade or you wait for a consolidation retracement, and these are the retracements you want to get in. So if it does break up, we can see that. If it does break down, I would be targeting this low over here, this low range. That is going to be an insane resistance. If it breaks down with high volume, I would be looking this range. That would be very, very exciting to see. Then it's going to happen. It's going to happen very soon in the next few days. We haven't got too much time here. We are creating higher lows. We are creating lower highs. This needs a breakout very, very soon. Right, guys, 300 likes. Thank you very much for joining the live stream. Make sure to smash up the like button. Sunday prep. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. This is what I'm expecting. You know, like I said at the beginning of the live stream, I am in some very small trades, but my take here on Bitcoin for the next few days is these godly patterns. I will be patiently waiting to see how we react at these levels, if we pump or if we dump, to get in a pretty aggressive trade. Of course, I will be talking about this on my daily videos, on my live streams. Okay, I'll be doing my daily video tomorrow, of course, to update you on what is happening. But like I said at the beginning of the live stream, this is what I'm looking for, these godlies. Let's see how we react at this level. Depending on how we react, I will enter trade aggressively. Thank you, guys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, Daily TA on Bitcoin and crypto. Smash up the like button on your way out. Check out, you know, Bybit and PrimeXBT for the best bonuses available. All right, you got them down below. It's another way to help out the channel. Check out the latest news here on the Bitcoinsensus website, and I'll see you guys in the next one.